Good morning. And today we're gonna return to our awful desert world with a set of dwarves that we are just they're mostly just builders, and they have a novice level of skill and axe. So everyone has an axe and a pickaxe, and we are off to reclaim the first fortress of our very small civilization. There's only 40 dwarves in the civilization. There'll be 47 as soon as we embark. So we didn't pick any skills with no social skills, no crafting skills. We expect the 7 dwarves here to perish just preparing the new fort, and we are going to try to bring this fort back to be a major player in the landscape. It's located in that mountain pass that separates the world east and west, and 100 years ago or so, a forgotten beast, the slut, the dwarves had dug too deep and discovered it, and now it lives there in some part of the fortress, as well as King Vabok. And I went through and I looked through the world's history, and looking for this king, and King Vabok, and he has a very interesting history. He was born about 50-60 years before the current year in the timeline, because I think it'll be fun to explore both the 9,000 year history and the much earlier era where we're in only the 2nd century and early in the 2nd century of the game. But this is a time when it's the golden age for these dwarf civilizations, even though the one that we've picked, the crystalline ropes, is in decline. And so what we have done is we've created a symbol for our civilization, which is the image of our king, not our first king, I think, but Vabok Warsteel, which I think is just an excellent name for a dwarf. We've named the fortress something like First Fortress in reference of our civilization's name, so it's got the word crystal in it. And I'm obsessed with bringing some pretty birds. These are not great, and it's going to be such a terrible environment. I don't think they're going to do very well there. And maybe we'll just bring some extra rocks instead, because we're going to go to a desert, but there's already a fortress there. And what we're going to do mostly is we're going to disassemble the current structure and build our own. And that is the plan. And finding water is going to be paramount. I think our best bet there is looking for an aquifer. And we can just take a look. Here is the original fortress. And one of our dwarves has already gone inside. There is a shaft that runs from there's a tower 2 stories high, and then the central shaft runs all the way down past the original fort. And so this is where we're going to base ourselves. This is where we're going to make our home. One of the first things that we'll do is build walls and block off large sections of the fort so that the various monsters are not going to come in and get us. And I think what we're gonna do, just so we can spend some time with it, we'll go back up. Here we have the central shaft. Here's going to be our main fort area. There is so much riches in their hoard. I think the first thing we'll do is, it's a little cheaty, we will claim everything here. And before this food spoils, this pig cheese, before it spoils, we will just say that it is in a food storage room. So that is our food storage stockpile, and maybe that will work. And we will come here and dig out an armory. And we're going to make each subsequent gallery larger, and then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have a large gallery, and then followed by smaller ones, and that is because we are going to eventually stick our gems in the farthest side. In fact, I'm going to have a little bit more fun with these storage doors. And I think this will also create a better flow. And here will be our treasure room, all the way in the back, and we'll dig out some alcoves to make it look extra special. And we will put some of our best hoard on pedestals there. Okay. Yes. Here we go. I think that'll create a better flow for all of our storage area. And as soon as possible, just making sure we're using our closest material. And for that, we might as well wait until we've started digging out and that we have some nearby material like this. We have a few microline blocks appearing, so we can get started in saying, no, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. And we will room area by area, make sure that this first level of the original fort is safe. And continue down the shafts and all the way down. And I explored the site earlier. If we dig right through here, we will have several things happening. One of which is there are a lot of troglodytes down there. And for some reason, I think that this fort is just located, or maybe because it's early, but we are going to get a lot of visitors who are going to come by and say that they want to hang out and hunt monsters. So we're not going to do a lot of mining, and we won't have to because we're taking all of this. This is all going to be resources for us. And try to make it look a little rough. If we want to keep that will be our it'll be our nice walkway. We're going to need one for where we're going, and we're taking all of these blocks and we're going to also take the wall. And not just the wall, but the ceiling up on top. And then we're going to dig a channel. We're going to hopefully dig all the way down and hit that aquifer. And then we'll have a water source, which is going to be really important because this is a terrible desert. If you get far away from the rivers, there's not a lot of water. And we can explore that in adventure mode some. So, take some stairs and take them to the top of the original structure. Because we are also going to do something fun and interesting with the roof. We're basically going to collapse the roof. Not right away. But at some point, and it will probably destroy anything that's underneath it. So we'll want to make sure our timing is good. Give the tower here a little bit of a lip, and we'll build up from the tower as well. Just to leave a little gap so it doesn't collapse on us right away. And somewhere safe, we will, out of the path of destruction, we will create a stockpile for our blocks, because we're not collecting stone, but we're going to reuse these original blocks. And that is going to take these dwarves quite a long time. So we should think about, we'll clear out some of these rooms. That's not accessible. That's not accessible. And here is where we need to find our aquifer. So let us find a good spot for a stairwell in the middle of nowhere. Let's dig one. But we will come back and visit this fort quite often, because somewhere in here, I believe, is the king of our civilization, and we want to make a well. We want to find where that wet water is coming from, and get a little bit of flooding so that we can do some water control. But I think this is a good point. And I thought we would just go into legends and then take a look at the world a little bit. I'm a big fan of not having just one fort. So let's go back to that world we were just in. Let's go into legends real quick and just take a look at Vaybok, King Vaybok War Steels. He was a dwarf born in the year 73, and we're in the 120s, so he's 50-ish years old. The oldest son of Dumid and Strodier. Vaybok becomes friends with a few people. He becomes king in the year 91. And in the early winter of the year 101, he settled in Two Kisses. So that's an interesting spot. We should take a look at what happened in Two Kisses. Just a bunch of dwarves moved in. And then there's a human entombed in there. Oh. And a legendary basalt slab with secrets. So we should find Two Kisses just so that maybe we can control the site and keep necromancers out. Because this world does have a problem with necromancers. Not so much in the 2nd century, but a couple hundred years in the future, it starts to get bad. So Vebok in the year 101 settles in Two Kisses. And then this interesting war between our civilization and I believe these are goblins. And there's sieges and assaults and friendships formed and a divorce, which what happens, I suppose. But Vebok has a very interesting history, and he's still alive, which is really great. What we're going to do, as well as get some resources, get some time in at the original fortress that we're reclaiming, is we want to build a nice little inn. And looking at some various places, because we want a place that will attract some travelers going to our our reclaimed fort. So I'm looking here at the edge of this little stream right before the desert, because that'd be a great spot, I think. Or this cave and volcano. This area is fairly interesting. It's haunted, so probably best to avoid it. But it'd be fun to explore, just to go in and explore this cave and see how long we could last there. The mysterious lairs are kind of a new thing for me still. I don't know what they do. But if we follow this river, the river, it looks like it ends. It's a stream at this point, and does go through this desert as a little stream. And I thought maybe either here at the end or at the fork would be a nice spot for that inn that would form a bridge for the dwarf civilization and I believe these are all humans. Yeah, a human civilization. I've seen there are some animal men. I know that there's at least a few eagle men, because we've had visitors. I think we can take a look at the test fort, which does have the king. We've made some very, very poor decisions in this fort, but we're a bit more progress, as you see, in taking down the original structure, and we're just channeling in down layer after layer, getting it a bit more boxy. And I think it's because I was watching some Lord of the Rings, and that tomb that Gandalf visits, it's like the inverted tower, and I've been really liking that idea, so trying to make it look rough and ill-formed. And I may have missed an opportunity already to smooth out these walls, so let's see if it is too late, because that would be a good thing to have because then I believe monsters would have a much more difficult time climbing the walls if they're smooth. But I think a lot of them already have no access. But something I think I'll try to keep in mind for the future. Same layout as the Embark that we started. I mostly wanted to show how much fun careful planning can be if you take a look at your civilization at the site in Legends and pick out a few details and include them in things like the civilization's image, their name and history. And we are hoping to have a singular tower. And at the bottom, we're going to have all of this rock. It's going to be in a nice stockpile for us. Having a great difficulty finding that aquifer, and I think the secret is that we need to go up. And I'm just kind of testing and probing. We will try to start a new fort here. As soon as we get the water, we're going to drain it out into our underground area, which I'm a bit of a nut. I've done my best to try to wall off some safe areas. So this one I think needs another layer still. Just go here. We're having some logistics issues. There's tons of visitors. What we're getting in visitors is a lot of people just want to come by and get into this underground layer, and they've just been warring on these troglodytes and leaving a lot of riches to find. So at the very bottom of the shaft, the original dwarves have carved out some rooms. Just turned one of them into a makeshift group warehouse workshop. One of the dwarves had gotten into a strange mood and could not find the appropriate workshop, so I just went through and went, all right, we'll just load up all the workshops. And they eventually made a floodgate, a special floodgate. So since we are going to have, here's our let's put our floodgate right there. Our legendary crafted special floodgate. And this is not a version of the fort that I plan on keeping, but mostly as practice. I think it'd be better if the tombs were at the top and not the bottom. But I did quite like this labyrinth-like layout because all of these heroes are coming into the fort to eradicate monsters. Not all of them make it out, and there are bones everywhere. So we are doing our best to try to make sure that all these visiting heroes can find a place to rest. This book wasn't here when we retired. We'll retire the fortress, go do something else, go do something in adventure mode, and come back. And I enjoy that because the dwarves, they go and do their autonomous things for a little while. They don't do a lot of cleaning up there. A lot of bones. Quite a lot. Trolls, lots of different things. Not everybody has gotten a decent burial yet, but we're hoping. Here we have a ghost, and it's a human ghost. That's what as a ghost, nothing. But quite an interesting bit of history. Let's see, did the humans have gods? We got a lot of cousins. Egu and Theckum. Good to know. Decay, the heavy dark hair. Yes, it's a rather deadly little world. Oh, I almost went to look for Veibach, but I know where they are, I think. Which is why we had to start a new world. I think there was a collapse up here, and I believe that very many people were crushed. And I wonder if we have the resources at the moment to see if what it would look like to collapse the roof. Should be pretty much good to go as soon as we get through the save. We'll give the order to that will collapse. That will collapse. Actually, yeah. Let us see what other orders are outstanding first, and make sure that we have people, 2 people available for work. And that might be it. We have 2 dwarfs left. And it looks like this particular fort is going to wither out in a moment, even though it's very popular with visitors. But we're going to go back a few years, start over now that we have a good idea of what to expect. But still, finding water has been difficult, and I do forget to have the still going 24/7. But thank you for your patience, and I look forward to exploring this world, this desert world, its denizens, its great dragon Raoul, and the 100 or so giant rocks that live in the haunted mountain to the north.